So I haven't done a build in quite a while, so I'm going to be building a mini-itx build, and I'm going to tell you all the components that I'm going to be using. And we're going to be using the what was it? It's an RVZ03W, which stands for white. So this is here now, and this is the white edition. I've already done the black version already. Link in the description down below. So you can go and check that out. I've done some heat temps with that. I think I've done it with water cooling. This is going to be purely with CPU air cooling. SilverStone sent over this case, as well as sending over the AR06 CPU air cooler, and this is a bit more of an old school one. And nearly dropped it then. And then we got the bigger boy version there, which is an NT06 Pro, and this is for AM4 and also for Intel 1151 and all the other sockets as well, so it's pretty flexible. The CPU fan on here can go underneath the actual cooler, so it should be able to fit in there, but if it does not fit in there, at least I've got another one from SilverStone. So I wanted to check it out, what it was like with the SilverStone product, to see how loud it was and temps that are in this mini-itx case. We're going to be using the ASUS H1101 Plus, and this is a little mini-itx motherboard, and it should have all like the necessary things on there, like USBs and the 24 pin and the EPS connectors and everything else that's on there. It's pretty simple, it's nothing really flashy, and it doesn't need to be flashy because it's technically going in here. But this case is actually RGB on the front, so you can have, it's got a controller inside. But we'll go through all of that afterwards, and you can use a mini-itx motherboard, which is slightly a bit more expensive, and you can do the little controls of the RGB and sync it as well, and maybe sync some RGB fans. But in here it's got low profile SilverStone fans, which we're going to be using as well. We're also going to be using the i3-7350K CPU, and we're not going to do any overclocking with it, but it's going to produce a bit of heat, and we want it to obviously work properly. We're going to use 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM by Crucial Ballistics, and then we've got Crucial SSD, and this one's a 960GB SSD. So it's nice and fast, and we're going to use the smallest, or one of the smallest power supplies in the world by SilverStone. This is the SX500G, and this is going to go into this build itself. So everything's all micro and stuff like that. So there's not much I really want to talk about this case, is because I really want to just focus on building into the computer and seeing how easy it is, because it's not too big. It's basically the size of like an old school Xbox or PlayStation, but it's got more utilities to it, more functionality. So you can definitely do like making your websites on there, you can play games, you can do CAD work, you can do all the stuff you want to do. Depends on the CPU and the motherboard, but what I've got here should be powerful enough for it. And I'm going to link all the prices down below where you can buy all these products. But yeah, it's just a very simple build, and a simple build because I've already talked about it in the other version, with a link in the description down below if you want to check that out first before you check this out. And don't forget to subscribe, share and like this video if you like this sort of stuff. But now I'm just going to get on with the build. Right, so basically, SilverStone include a fan to exhaust heat on the side panel, but as you can see, I've got one of their biggest CPU air coolers on the top, and I can put 2 SSDs in there just about with no problem. Normal size graphics cards, the GTX 970. It's kind of like a medium sized one, so if you want to go for a really massive one, I don't think it's going to fit a really massive one. You can see that I've got the smallest power supply in the world, with some cables and stuff, and I haven't got like loads of cables, but a little bit of time you can obviously make it look a bit more nicer than what I have. But I've literally done this, and now I just realised that this fan is a low profile fan and it won't go over the CPU air cooler. But if I take it off, it will breathe out the hole, so it's in the right place, but it's just not enough room. So if you go with the smallest CPU air cooler you can get, it should work nicely. So what I'm going to do is it's irrelevant for me to have the extension that they provided, because it's not going to work. But I'm taking off the side fan, and then I can just screw in this side of the case, and then it's really done. And then they do include air filters as well. They include a lot of stuff for this case, and I'm like, where are you going to put all this stuff? It's nice that you've got the remote control for the RGB, but technically you won't need RGB inside the motherboard or connected to the motherboard, so they should think about just not using that and using what they've got at the moment, because that's pretty cool, just having a magnetic RGB controller. So I'll put it underneath there. And now where the CPU air cooler blows that hot air, it's going to come straight out. Then I could just put a filter there, so it's not a problem. And it's magnetic. Oh my god, they think of everything, don't they, these people? It says blackout. No, let's turn it around. There we go, we've got a filter there now. So we can have a filter on there, or we don't need a filter on there, but I want to have it without the filter. Actually, I'm going to put the filter on there. I'm just thinking it's going to be a bit more restrictive with airflow on the actual case. But let's see what happens. We're here to test, so let's test it. Put a filter on the outside. Put a filter on the outside. So I'm going to put a filter on the outside, because I think it's meant to go on the outside, not on the inside. If it goes on the inside, it's a little bit awkward to come off. And as it's magnetic, it does actually fit on it properly. And that means that when you want to clean it, you can easily take it off and clean it without opening the case. So that makes a lot of sense. If SilverStone's done that, that's great. Now it's to do the tests. I forgot to mention that these come with feet, but they're in my other videos, so I didn't forget it in that one. And then you've got 3M as well. And if you want to have it like laying down as a HTPC, you can have it laying down. They've got some nice rubber feet there. And if you want it standing up, then you use these. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just put these in there. I'm going to try and put them in there. I don't know how easy it is to put these in there. Oh my god! I actually don't know how to do this. Actually, that might be wrong. Oh, I don't know how to do this. There we go, so put the feet in. They're quite high quality, but they're not exactly easy to put in. Well, they are easy, they're not too bad. Just got to know which way you're doing it. Just one side. That's another side. And the last side. Oh. There you go, it's done. Now before you buy this case and you want the RGBs, you'll probably put it together and you'll be like, oh, why is it not working? Why am I only getting white light? And the white light would be just on the front there. And the reason you'll get the white light, you have everything plugged into your motherboard. If you haven't got an RGB motherboard, because it doesn't make sense having an RGB motherboard unless you want to connect the RGBs from the front panel of the case and then do it through software. But they've also included this box, which is a hardware box, and it's right here. But as you can see, these lovely cables, braided and really nice, that are from SilverStone, which is really horrible because it's hidden, but it matches the case, and no other cables really are like this in other cases. But if you want the RGBs, you have to take this cable out of your motherboard, which is a non-RGB motherboard, which I'm using, and then you have to stick it into the back of this box here. And it's the only spot which has got a 2-pin without any clips or anything like that, and it just goes into the back of here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you quickly without it on. So you're going to be wondering, where's my RGB on my decent expensive case? So I'll turn it on, and that's what will happen. You'll get RGB, but you can't change any colours. And then you look around the case, where's the buttons? Where's that? It's saying to press a button, press a button. You can't press anything because it's not telling you properly where it is. I'll actually look into the manual quickly. I think it's right at the back. Right, that's where it will be on in this book. So page 17, in very small writing, connect definition RGB LED connector guide. So that's for software and hardware, and it'll be right here, and also in different countries as well and different languages. So I meant to say, and it will be on there. But look how small that is, and everywhere else you're looking for it, and it's saying, yeah, we can connect the box. If I can find it quickly, you can find the box. So I'm looking for it, trying to find it. For permissions, right, there we go. Installation guide of the RGB box, and what it says here is connect the cable from the RGB light strip to the RGB enabled motherboard. If your motherboard does not have an RGB 4-pin socket, which is a 12 plus GRB, please install the included RGB control box LSB01 into your case. The LSB01 is integrated magnet, so you can place it anywhere in the case depending on your system layout, but we recommend installing it in the inner side of the front panel for detailed installation. Please refer to the RGB LED connector guide in the later pages. Now, if I wanted to build a computer, I wouldn't have time to look at that. I would expect it to be in there, and it's not in there, it's in another page. So I'm going to tell you how to do it really quickly. So before you buy this case and wonder what's going on, if you want a reset button, you might also forget that you either have RGB or you have reset. So I'm just going to turn off the computer real quick. And what's a real proper mission as well, and if you put this in and you forget to switch off the switch on this box on the power supply, you have to take basically half of it apart to get it out there. And it's a bit of a shame that they didn't put a full-size bracket for this mini power supply to actually connect into this case. It's a proper mission. I've only got one screw in there and everything like that, and it's a proper mission. But anyway, put a reset button or a reset cable inside into the 2-pin, and look what happens. I guess this is why you got us guys to do this stuff. I'll try and plug this in now. Right, let's turn it on. We've got a white light still. What's going on? He says. Oh, if I switch that, it turns off. If I switch that, it turns on. Turns off, turns on, turns off. All you need to do, keep it on, because the other one's for the motherboard that's RGB enabled. Press your reset switch. And there's your RGBs. Because I know most of you are going to be probably asking me, how the hell do you get the RGBs on and then on RGB motherboard? It's got some really pretty colours. And then yeah, you got like, what's this one? Is that breathing? Cool. And you can have breathing on different colours, I guess. Yeah. What can you do when you hold it for 3 seconds? What happens there? Oh, it turns it off. Turn it on. I think this is pretty cool. You can do that. So basically, you don't have to have the box. If you're wondering how you change the RGBs, it's not in the box is inside, so it makes sense. Anyway, hope this was useful, because if it was useful, thumbs up all day long. See you later.